In the grand halls of opera, legends are born with voices that can move mountains and stir souls. But among these giants, one voice soared beyond all measure, shattering the very limits of human possibility. MadoRobin, a name whispered in awe, a woman whose vocal range stretched to notes no other singer dared to reach. Her coloratura soprano wasn't just high, it was otherworldly, electrifying audiences and forever changing what we thought was possible. Tonight, we unravel the mystery of her unparalleled talent, her extraordinary life, and the unreachable high notes that made her an immortal icon. Prepare yourself to step into a world of breathtaking beauty, astounding power, and the voice that still echoes through opera history. This is the story of MadoRobin, opera's unreachable high note.
That sound you just heard wasn't a special effect. It was a human voice, hitting a note that seems almost impossible. The singer was MadoRobin, and her voice could reach higher than almost any other in recorded history. But the story of how she got there, and the life of the woman behind that incredible instrument, is even more fascinating. The world of opera has its legends, but MadoRobin's name literally soars above the rest. This is the story of how her vocal gift defied belief, the personal tragedies she faced, and the legacy of a French soprano who remains a true outlier in the history of music. To really get a handle on MadoRobin's gift, you have to understand what we mean by high. We're not just talking about an impressive top note. We're talking about sounds that fly into the stratosphere. Her voice fits into a rare category called soprano acuto sfogato, which is a fancy way of saying she had an extreme upper extension. While a great soprano might dream of hitting a high C, MadoRobin could sing 2 full octaves higher than that. We have recordings of her hitting a C7, and in live shows, she was known to reach a jaw-dropping D7, a note at the very top end of an 88-key piano. But this wasn't just a gimmick. Unlike people who can produce high-pitched squeaks, Mado had the skill to make it music. Her teacher, Mario Podesta, who himself was a student of the great Fernando de Lucia, trained her in the art of bel canto, which gave her a perfect, smooth legato and a stunningly quick coloratura technique. This meant she could glide up and down the scales with what sounded like effortless precision, making these impossibly high notes sound not like a shriek, but like pure, controlled art. MadoRobin's voice was, and still is, a phenomenon. During her career, scientists from the Sorbonne in Paris actually wanted to study her, to figure out the physical secret behind her range. They couldn't understand how she produced these notes with such freshness and ease. Her talent was so unique that it said some opera roles were even transposed up for her, just to better show off what she could do. It was this technical mastery that really set her apart. While another singer might use a single high note for shock value, Robin wove them right into the music. Her control was so total that she could perform rapid, complicated passages, known as coloratura, in a register most singers can't even approach. This skill is what made her a legend in roles like Lakme or Lucia di Lammermoor, where the vocal fireworks aren't just for show, they're part of the character's emotional story. The crowd didn't just wait for the one money note. They waited for the incredible journey her voice would take to get there and back. Those notes became her trademark. And while some critics felt she was stretching what the composer intended, audiences absolutely adored her for it. The woman with this one-in-a-billion voice came from surprisingly humble beginnings. Born Madeleine Marie Robin on December 29, 1918, in the small French town of Iseux-sur-Creuse, a life in music wasn't really the original plan. She grew up at her family's property, the Château de Valais, and while she started singing lessons at 13, it was more of a hobby than a career path. It was her teacher, Mario Podesta, who first realized he had someone special on his hands when he discovered the incredible high register of her voice. When she was just 16, the famous baritone Tita Ruffo heard her and was blown away, further confirming her potential. Even then, Mado wasn't sure about a life on stage. It took a lot of pushing from her friends to get her to even audition for the Paris Opera. In 1937, she entered a singing contest and won first prize with an aria from Verdi's Rigoletto. But just as her career was about to start, the world was thrown into the chaos of World War II. The war delayed her opera debut, but she didn't stop singing. She started building a reputation in concerts and on Pathé Marconi records, becoming a recording star before she'd even stepped onto a major opera stage. When the war was finally over, she made her formal debut at the Paris Opera on August 12, 1945, as Gilda in Rigoletto. Expectations were sky high, but Mado surpassed them all. A new star had arrived. After that incredible debut, MadoRobin's career just took off. She became a beloved fixture of the Paris opera scene, performing at both the opera and the opera comique. Her unique voice was a perfect match for the most challenging coloratura roles out there. She was a celebrated queen of the night in Mozart's The Magic Flute, Olympia in The Tales of Hoffmann, and Rosina in The Barber of Seville. She was brilliant as Leila in Les Pêcheurs de Perles and as the tragic heroine of Lucia di Lammermoor. But one role, more than any other, became hers: the title character in Leo Delibes' L'Acme. The opera is known for the flower duet, but it also has the brutally difficult Belle's Song, an aria that demands insane vocal agility and a solid high E. For Mado, this was just another day at the office. She didn't just sing the part, she owned it. Her 1952 recording of the role is still the one to beat for any soprano brave enough to try it. Her fame in Paris soon went international. She performed in major opera houses in Brussels and Monte Carlo, and by the 1950s, she was a huge star on French radio and television. MadoRobin wasn't just a singer anymore. She was a French cultural icon. For all the triumphs on stage and her almost superhuman voice, MadoRobin's personal life was marked by real-world heartbreak. She married an Englishman named Alan Smith when she was just 17, and they had a daughter. But their happiness was tragically cut short. Shortly after World War II ended, Alan was killed in a car accident, leaving Mado, a young widow, with a child to raise on her own. This loss might have been part of what made her so warm and humble. In an industry known for big egos and demanding divas, Mado was remembered by everyone as sweet, modest, and completely down to earth. The public loved her not just for the voice, but for her gentle and approachable personality. It's this combination of an extraordinary gift and genuine warmth that makes her stories so powerful. She wasn't some untouchable goddess. She was a woman who had known love and loss, who was juggling a global career and single motherhood, all while having a voice that sounded like it came from another planet. That grounding in reality made her ethereal sound connect even more deeply with her listeners. The 1950s were MadoRobin's golden years. Her voice took her all over the world. In 1954, she made a big splash in the United States, performing in San Francisco as both Lucia and Gilda to rave reviews. Soon after, she went on a hugely successful tour of the Soviet Union, giving 16 concerts in just a few weeks to stunned audiences. In 1956, she was invited to sing at the wedding of Prince Rainier and Grace Kelly in Monaco, a clear sign of her status as a true international superstar. Her career kept going strong, with performances all over Europe and a packed recording schedule. But a shadow was gathering on the horizon. In early 1960, she had an operation, but seemed to bounce back, returning to the stage and even making new recordings. By the end of that year, however, her health took a serious turn. The diagnosis was a form of cancer though sources differ on whether it was leukemia or liver cancer. In a heartbreaking twist, the Opéra Comique in Paris had scheduled a special performance of L'Acmé just 9 days before the celebration. She was only 41 years old. MadoRobin's time in the spotlight was tragically short, but her legacy is permanent. She left behind these incredible recordings that still make you shake your head in disbelief, capturing a voice that pushed the limits of what we thought was possible. Though she was long considered the highest voice in opera, the conversation continues today with singers like Audrey Luna also hitting exceptionally high notes in modern productions. Still, Mado's D7 remains legendary. In her hometown of Izures-sur-Creuse, there's a museum dedicated to her memory, celebrating the life of their most famous daughter. More than just the sum of her high notes, MadoRobin's story is about what happens when a once-in-a-generation natural gift is combined with hard work and pure artistry. She was a woman who faced tragedy with grace and brought a kind of otherworldly beauty to her audiences. She remains a vocal wonder whose sound, once you hear it, you'll never forget. If you were captivated by the story of MadoRobin's incredible voice, please consider subscribing for more stories about opera's greatest legends. And don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps her story reach more people. Let us know in the comments which opera singer you think we should feature next. Thanks for watching.